Hey there, Prog Noggins. Dave here. This is Bleeding Edge and another edition of No BS Reactions, where, hey, it pretty much says it all. I check out some music and tell you what I think and give you my initial reaction. This is all music I have not listened to before, which is interesting considering the fact that the song we're doing today is the title track from Yes's upcoming new album, Aurora, due out June 12th, I believe it is, somewhere thereabouts. And hey, you would think a long-term prog fan, a long-term Yes fan like myself would have heard this song already. I have not. Believe it or not, I have held off and managed to avoid it. Fortunately, I don't have to worry too much about it because terrestrial radio ignores new Yes these days anyway, so it's kind of hard for me to stumble upon it accidentally flipping through the stations on those rare occasions I'm listening to radio for music. And so unless I choose to stream it, it's easy to avoid. So I've done that up to this point in time, even though it has been out for more than a month. And I knew I wanted to get around to hearing this for the first time and checking it out. Yes has had a pretty good track record with the last two albums for me for me really enjoying the very first single released. Going back those last two albums, the title track, Mirror to the Sky, that I thought I remember that being the first single they released. I could be wrong. And then before that, From the Ice Bridge, and I'm going blank on that title right about now because I wasn't actually thinking ahead of time that I was going to talk about it. The Quest. There it is. And, both of those were my favorite songs off of the albums. So let's see if they can make the trifecta here and see if the title track, Aurora, is actually going to be the one that I like best here. So pull it up. Let's get ready to roll here. So this is Yes, Aurora, the new album due out June 12th. Me checking out the title track for the first time. So buckle up. A little bit like I'm getting ready to see the main feature at the movie theater after finally getting through, like the 6 or 7 trailers. No, I dig the grand piano kind of aspect to it. I always enjoy Jeff Downes and his ability to write these kind of nice little keyboard or piano intros. I'm enjoying it so far, but it does have a bit of a orchestral feel to it so far, does it not? And I guess we're going to get a cartoon character for this animation. That'll be interesting. I have to try not to be distracted by the visuals. I'm sorry, right now they're really making me feel like I'm about to see a movie start. Okay. Anyway, and this is beyond keys, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I realize synths can do a lot of things to simulate and stuff, but it sounds like a genuine orchestra, which I was not aware. I've not read anything about the upcoming album, so if they were planning on working with an orchestra, I was not aware of that, and it certainly sounds up to this moment like they've been. So it sounds very grand, very big, and at the same time, I don't know, and they're not helping when the two people lean together and they zoom in. It really makes me feel like I'm about ready to see Mandalorian and Grogu or something like that. Anyway, hold on. Well, I gotta say one so far. Kudos to whoever's responsible for the mix. There's really a nice spatial kind of sound going on here in my head. The guitar is primarily over here, and the bass here. The keyboard's kind of floating around, the drums sticking in the back, and really kind of providing a nice backbone for the whole thing, even though they're very syncopated, and I enjoyed that much. There's a nice flow to all of this that's going on. There's so much going on. My ADHD brain is loving that. And you can always pick up a little bit of what's going on here, but everything complements each other very nicely. The guitars aren't drowning out the bass or the keys. Nothing overwhelms. They're all just kind of interplaying and intertwining among one another. And I always love when music does that in such a way. And there's just a nice flow to it. Um, Maybe not quite a fully what I might say linear flow, similar to like a water flowing through a creek or something like that, but just stuff going on all around. And it really gives me a lot to listen to and be occupied with. But there's really a deft touch in the arrangement here that I'm enjoying. Billy Sherwood is doing his best Pete Trewavas, I think, impression right about now because of the way the bass is like really kind of active, kind of bouncy, but doesn't take over. It supports the song, plays a little bit of the main lead in the melody in some ways, or the harmony, what do you want to say? Because I guess the vocals are the melody, and they're all kind of doing their own thing, but it blends so nicely. Hal's guitars, tastefully done, and there's a spatial quality to Down's keyboards on this particular case. I like this, and I like the way it goes. Seems like it has a bit of chorus, more of a slightly traditional compositional structure, which is fine. I don't care. I enjoyed the more traditional compositions of the Trevor Rabin era, yes, many ways as much as a lot of what classical Yes did than when they eschewed those kinds of constructions. But they all had something great to offer. This is somewhere in between the two so far at some point in time. And again, we heard those orchestral elements suddenly flow back in. So again, did the orchestra wait around because they took it back? They took a break, took five for a minute there while the verse and chorus played through, kind of coming in to fill in space there in the back end of the chorus, or maybe even a bridge afterwards. I've already forgotten, but so far so good. There is potential. This could be my favorite song off the album. Interesting to note. I almost wasn't going to pause there at this point in time. I enjoyed the instrumental break there. It's some nice little noodling from Steve Howe. Certainly very, very competent, very cool. Maybe there's something I'm missing, not being a guitar player. I'd say I've heard more impressive from him, but I dig that the fact that it was probably intentionally a little more restrained and just meant to go with the flow of the music as opposed to being showy. Hard to say for sure, but I enjoyed that little break there. It's pretty cool. But interesting in the mix too is that guitar, and for most part, what I've heard is here, and all of a sudden, this kind of distorted section here, slightly more distorted, a little grittier guitar shows up here. I don't know if anybody cares where I hear it in my head, but I'm just saying the mix is really kind of cool and spatial. I got to think there are certain setups where this would probably have to be really cool. All righty, so moving forward.
What's history to tell? Stories of the glories. In shame we fell as heroes we arose. Along the border of the great divide. Through the portal to the other side. Everything to be free inside. Everything I long for inside myself. Inside myself. Aurora, astral light Aurora. Aurora, celestial. Aurora, incorporeal. Aurora, your flames are embraced. Running through the maze in my mind. Your flames are ablaze. Aurora, flames are ablaze.
Okay, good movie. Well, I guess we did technically get a movie a little bit with all of that. So yes, no pun intended. That was just came out. Accidentally hit stop. Start over again. But I have to say, I am quite enjoying that little bit there. That's very much a more symphonic version of Yes than we have gotten, I think, in a while. And I don't mind it at all. I like those symphonic elements, and I'm trying to think of the equivalent of when else that may have happened at some point in time in their past history. And I'm blanking on that at the moment, but I also will admit that I missed a big chunk, probably a bit in the 90s and early aughts, where I wasn't following closely, so I may just be forgetting. But for my ear at this moment, that's kind of a new element, and I like it. I dig it. It adds a bit of pomposity, grandiosity. I don't think pomposity is a great word that you want to add to something, but if you know what I mean. It adds a bit of grandness to the proceedings. All things very nicely played, competently played. I don't think anybody was overplaying, which is nice, because I know sometimes maybe some of the bigger, faster pieces may be prone to people stepping on each other's toes. But I got to think at this point in time, this iteration of Yes, and especially with the new drummer since Alan White passed, whose name I can't recall at this moment in time, is fitting in nicely and brings a nice little element to everything. And it just seems like this as a band, they've had enough stability for a long enough time that they really have gotten to understand how to play with one another and arrange the music in a way that highlights everybody at least a little bit without anybody necessarily having to do that, take a step forward, get yourself in the spotlight kind of thing. You can hear lots of wonderful playing going on throughout the song at various given moments. Yeah, Steve gets a bit of a spotlight with the guitar solo, and that's sort of a traditional thing with even more symphonic rock music and progressive rock music. So that's the thing. And he is very much the elder statesman, longest serving member of the band present. So I guess maybe he gets a little special treatment. Chances are pretty good he produced the album as well if things are holding as they have been over the last several iterations. So, I guess he gets to decide things like that he gets a bit spotlight there and gets to put himself forward. Not really a complaint. Oh no, Steve Howe is playing a solo. Oh no. And I would imagine to a degree that everybody gets a bit of an opportunity to step forward a little bit, maybe throughout the album. I've always gotten the impression that Jeff Downes is not a guy that's all that huge on playing a lot of showy, virtuosic keyboard solos, at least in the album format. So I don't know that I expect a ton of that because he's hardly been one for that. Like in all his time in Asia, I can only really remember one that really stood out. And that was one of my absolute favorite keyboard solos on The Heat Goes On. That thing was on fire. So anywho, I'm enjoying this. I like what I hear so far. I look forward to maybe getting to know the rest of the album and seeing what else Yes has to bring our way. But I do find the first track off the new album to be very encouraging and quite potentially my favorite song off the album, which will be standing in line with the last two. At the same time, I might or might not, repeat listens will tell me, I might or might not like it as well as those initial singles off the last two. I would still say The Quest, it's going to be hard to beat. I love that song. So those are my thoughts. What are yours? Yes, fans, what do you think? Is this something that holds up at all with classic Yes from the 70s? I know that's a lot to say, and a lot of people probably will resist that. Newer fans, what do you think? Does this relate, when you've maybe not had 10, 15 years to absorb all that other music and then everything else is new? Maybe it's so much is new to you. You have a different view of it than an old head like myself or people older than me. What do you think of the song in and of itself, regardless of how it compares to their past work? Do you dig the orchestral elements that have been added there? And I'll have to look in the meantime to find out whether that's really an orchestra playing with them or whether that might be synth work on Jeff Downes' part. So anyway, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Leave some comments. Tell me what you think. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel. Check out the other stuff I'm doing with Bleeding Edge interviews and the Prog Council. You might enjoy that as well. And of course, hit the little bell so you know when I put something out there. And hey, if you got a moment, check out the Bleeding Edge merch shop, and you might find a couple things there you like as well, a t-shirt or a sticker or whatever. Or hey, if you just want to buy me a coffee, that would be awesome too. Anyway, whatever you can do, if you could, help support the channel, help us grow. And in the meantime, I will leave you with the usual: hang loose, never fear to deviate from the norm, and as always, keep it proggy.